Okay, that was a false alarm. It is working, so sorry for the interruption. So this is what 3x plus 4, that whole quantity squared means. It means that we're writing it twice. So if I were to FOIL this, I would get 9x squared. The inner and the outer both come out to be 12x, since I'm doing the same thing twice. And the last becomes 16. So when I combine all my terms, I end up getting 9x squared plus 24x plus 16, which probably all of us know from yesterday. So see if you can do b on your own. Maybe pause this video until you can do b. There's two variables in there. So you're going to get some xy terms that are combined together. You're going to get some squared terms. You're going to get some squared x's and y's. So try that. Pause me. So hopefully you paused me. This problem then becomes 25x squared minus 20xy plus 4y squared. So maybe you're wondering, how did I do that in my head? Well, it's because I know that this is a special product, and so I know that there's a formula for it, which is this. So this is why we do special products. So right there where it says special product, what do we do when we're squaring a binomial? So if we have something minus something squared, the formula is that I can square my first term, square my last term, and then my middle term becomes 2 of the first and last together. And we can see that in both of these. Here's 5x squared, here's negative 2y squared, and then when I multiply these times each other, the inside parts, I get negative 10xy. Can you see that on your paper, how these two become negative 10xy when you multiply them? Well, if I double that, since I'm doing outer and inner, it becomes negative 20xy. So this is the special formula. If you ever are squaring something on itself, you're going to do first squared, last squared, and then to get your middle term, you're going to do 2 of whatever you get when you multiply each other. So even though over here I FOILed, I can actually see that that formula worked out. 3x becomes 9x squared, 4 becomes 16, and then 3x times 4 is 12x. When I double it, I get 24x. So whenever you are given a term multiplied by itself, you can either FOIL, which I did here and I got the right answer, or if you want to do it without having to show the FOILing process, you can remember this formula. First term squared, last term squared, and then in the middle you double whatever you get when you multiply them times each other. So that's half of what we're going to be learning in this lesson. If you look below, you guys have 4 examples of problems like this that you can do on your own. So I want you to try to use that formula that we just came up with, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, to see if you can find all 4 of these. So again, I want you to work on these 4 try it yourself problems, pause me, then when you're done, we can check them. So pause now. Okay, hopefully you did that, and now you have all the answers to these. Really quick, we'll go over them. There we go. Okay, so the first one should be x squared plus 14x plus 49. I'm not sure if you can see that on the board, so make sure you're listening. X squared plus 14x plus 49. The second one will be 49x squared minus 42x plus 9. The third one should be 16x squared minus 8xy plus y squared. And then the last one is going to be 9m squared plus 6nm plus n squared. So if you need a minute to have me be paused, if something happened wrong in one of your problems, take the time to pause me, ask a neighbor. If everyone feels like they're good, maybe you can give Ms. Bunstein a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Thumbs up meaning you're ready to move on, thumbs down meaning you need me to be paused, so that she can pause it if you guys decided to do this as a full class. All right, hopefully now if you paused me, you are ready to move on. So that's half, like I said, that's half of what we're learning today, or not today, but in this section. We also want to talk about what happens if we have opposite signs. Okay, so the next two problems you should have will be really similar to what we did. They're the same problem, but they have opposite signs. And we actually call these, they have a special name, it's called a conjugate. Conjugate means that they have the same terms, but their signs are opposite. So that's what's happening here. We have the same terms, but one of them's plus and one of them's minus. Well, just like I said earlier, you don't have to use the special terms process in order to do this. I can look at it and I can FOIL just like normal, and I can get the answer. So if I were to FOIL t plus 5 times t minus 5, first I'd get t squared. Outer, I'd get minus 5t. Inner, I'd get plus 5t. And then last, I'd get minus 25. Yeah? So that would be how I would FOIL it. Well, the reason this is a special case is because like our last one, when we got the same numbers in the middle, this one we're getting opposite numbers in the middle. Well, we know from inverse operations that opposite numbers cancel with each other. So negative 5t and positive 5t are opposites. They become 0. They go to nothing. That means I don't have to write this anymore. You don't have to say plus 0. You can just ignore it. So really, these are going to be my answer. I'm just going to take the first and the last. I get t squared minus 25. Okay? So if I look at my second problem, it's going to be the same idea, but this one, just like I did before, I'm not going to actually FOIL it. I'm just going to figure out the answer. So I can tell just by looking at this that the answer to this one is going to be 9x squared minus y squared. The reason I know that is because I know the special cases formula. I know that when I multiply problems that are conjugates from each other, meaning that they're the same terms, but the sign inside is opposite, that really what I'm doing here is I'm multiplying the a's and then I'm multiplying the b's, and that's going to be my answer. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Y times negative y is negative y squared. So there's a couple different ways we can see this. When you're doing a plus b times a minus b, my favorite way to say that the answer to this is a squared minus b squared. Because when we multiply b times b, one of them's positive, one of them's negative. A positive times a negative is always a negative, which means my answer is always going to be minus in here unless we're dealing with imaginary numbers, which I don't think you guys have to deal with. So this is our formula. So in that space where it says special case number 2, you're going to fill in this equation. When you're given two equations that have the same a value and the same b value, but their signs are opposite, you can use this formula, which means you don't have to FOIL. Because we can see here, t squared minus 25 would give us, that's what we'd get with using our formula, but it also works to FOIL. So you can do either way you want. Sorry, give me a second. Here we go, I'm on progress 5-3. So I would like you to now do the next try it out yourself problems. I didn't put this problem on yours, so if you can actually see this, ignore 8. You guys just need to do these 3 problems. The first one should say x plus 10 times x minus 10, 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1, so on. So try those 3 problems. Pause me while you're working, then we can come back together and go over the answers. Okay, so hopefully you pause me. Here are our solutions. The first one should come out to be x squared minus 100, since x times x is x squared, 10 times 10 is 100. 2x times 2x is 4x squared, not 2x squared. Check, make sure you did that right. 1 times 1 is 1, and I did minus 1 since they're all going to be minus. 7x times x is x squared. 3y times 3y is 9y squared. So those should be the answers on that one. And that is all for 7.3. So I am going to stop this video. You guys can go over whatever you need to for the next couple minutes or whatever works out cleanly, and then we will start on 7.4 in the next video.